If last week was singles, tonight it's mixed doubles. 7 years back, he was one half of the duo that created tennis history. Since then, there have been triumphs, new records, and a new life partner. I am delighted to welcome back Mahesh Bhupathi with his wife, Shweta. Hi, Mahesh.
How are you?
Fine. It's lovely to have you back.
It's good to be back.
See, nothing has changed here.
No, absolutely.
But a lot has changed in your life.
I guess you can say that.
You remember the last time you were here, you just won your first Grand Slam with Rika Hiraki.
Right.
And now you've acquired quite a collection, haven't you?
Fortunate.
On your 8th?
I've 7 Grand Slams so far.
So you're on your 8th
On my
one.
8th, yeah.
Wow. And you made a goal or something of how many?
Ideally, I'd like it to have 10 by the time I retire.
But that's right next door now.
I don't know about that. I mean, getting a little old, but hopefully I can make it.
But you know, obviously there's something about this being programmed or predestined to be a tennis champ. Because before you were born, your father had decided that you would be a tennis champion, right?
Yeah, my dad wanted to be a professional himself. Unfortunately, because of a car accident, he had to, put up his rackets. So, he always used to tell my mom, please give me a son because I want to make him a tennis player. And my dad said he used to make my mom sit and watch him play tennis matches when I was in her womb. So I guess here we go.
But I think it obviously makes a difference. It's very interesting to understand this. I think it makes a difference because when you look at Anushka Shankar, her mother did the same, made her listen to the sitar when she was in the womb. Same with Hema Malini, her mother decided she'd be a dancer. There's obviously more to this than we people give credit for.
Possibly. I mean, obviously, from what you're telling me, I think there is, but, I know it worked for me.
Was it hard living up to your father's dream?
Initially growing up, probably. I mean, obviously a lot of hard work, a lot of practice, a lot of training. My dad took me to Wimbledon when I was like 11, then again when I was 13. So, just being there when you were a kid and, the goosebumps you get when you walk into Wimbledon, you always want to, be there and play yourself.
But he was a very hard taskmaster.
He was, and, to make it to a certain level, certain number of hours had to be put in, and, he made sure I put those hours in no matter for his work or my school. We just found time. January 1st, Christmas, didn't matter. We were on the tennis court.
No birthday parties?
No, but no birthday parties. I don't think I was really allowed to go to many of my friends' birthday parties because, I'd be practicing, and, when I wasn't practicing, I had to make up for schoolwork. So, it's tough for any kid to, make all those sacrifices growing up.
When you made a mistake, what would happen?
He'd yell at me, he'd fire a ball at me, he'd make me do, extra couple hours of practice. It just depended on him.
For one faulty volley or something. But is it true that they were going to report him to the Human Rights Commission because he overworked you?
Oh, I don't think it went that far. I mean, I'm sure a lot of the parents who used to sit outside and watch us practice, definitely felt sorry for me or, but, at the end of the day, he had only good intentions in his mind. And today, looking back, I'm just glad that he pushed me that extra mile when I was growing up, because if I didn't make that extra effort, I probably wouldn't have won all these titles.
And apart from that, I think nobody knows, but he sacrificed a lot for your career. He gave up better paying jobs as an investment banker just so that he could spend his time with you because he didn't want to travel.
The whole family did. I mean, not only my dad's jobs, I think my mom, she, obviously nobody likes moving houses a lot, and, she had to, just pick up and go whatever was the best place for my tennis. There's a lot of small sacrifices the whole family made.
Actually, the whole family just focused on one thing,
yes.
Mahesh's tennis. I mean, that's really something.
Yeah.
But what does he say now when he sees all that you've achieved?
No, I think there's a lot of personal satisfaction. He still makes a trip to Wimbledon every year. Because it's the mecca of tennis, and he loves watching me play there. Fortunately for us, we've had a couple titles there, so it's him realizing his dream and all the effort he put in, and it makes me very happy to have him there every year because I know how much it means to him.
Has he ever said anything to you?
I know. He doesn't have to say much. I know from the look. And I remember when Leander and me won in '99. We were showing off the trophies to the stands, and I could see the reaction that he had on his face, and that was definitely special.
It must have been. What sort of things do you do together? How deep is the friendship?
Pretty much everything, I think. You know, we like eating. We're very close. I mean, we're almost like brothers. We spend like 45 weeks of the year together. So, you know, we know each other so well. I mean, I think that's what basically carries on to the tennis court for us.
When you were here last time, could you have imagined that your partnership would be so short-lived?
Probably not. I mean, absolutely not, actually. I think in '97 when we did it last was when we just came onto the scene. I think that was when we won our first 6 titles. You know, the country was very excited. We were very excited. So I think no one could actually tell at that time that, you know, things would not last forever.
Today, can you analyze what went wrong?
I wish I could put my finger on it, but unfortunately I can't. I think it's a mixture of a lot of different things. Obviously, 2 of us to start with, and then a lot of outside influences. You know, he has his sides, I have my sides, but I think at the end of the day, you know, we split, we came back, we split again, and I think the good thing that has definitely come out of all this is we both matured a lot.
You know, movie star pairs and music groups and even sports teams, they very rarely endure after great success. What happens?
I don't know about the movie stars or the other musicians, but you know, with us it's different. I mean, you know, obviously we're not the best of friends anymore, but as I said, we've matured and we know how to deal with each other more on a professional basis. We can pick up our rackets and pretty much play world-class doubles at a drop of a hat.
But what can go wrong? Why does it get difficult?
I think it's just a matter of keeping the communication, you know, going all the time. The press obviously doesn't help the situation. You know, they take quotes from our coaches, from our dads, from our, you know, friends, and, you know, they blow it out of proportion. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's Leander and me fighting against the rest on the tennis court. And unfortunately, we let the rest get to us. And, you know, I think, you know, as you say, we learn from our mistakes and we won't let that happen again.
Well, that's good. But when you knew things weren't working between you and Lee, who was the first person to make the move to call it off?
Well, the first time, obviously, I think my shoulder surgery, I had surgery in '99 in December. And
for 5 months you couldn't play?
I couldn't play, and, you know, that automatically became one of the splits. And then the second time was, I think, last April when, you know, we went through a really bad patch. We weren't winning any matches, so, you know, there was no communication. So, you know, I stepped up to the plate and told him that either we get better or, you know, we need to take a break. And, you know, we didn't get better 2 months later, so, you know, we decided it was the best to take a break.
So starting all over again with a new partner, was it difficult?
It was very difficult for me because, you know, when I came on tour in '96, I started playing with Leander. So for me, at the professional level, I had never played with anyone else, and so it was a tough period for me. Touch wood, and luckily for me, I've proved to myself that I can. So I think that makes a big difference, and, you know, the confidence is doing well for me.
The confidence must be amazing.
You know, Max and me, I think we complement each other very well as well. So, you know, so far, you know, the relationship's going great.
So in between you'd gone your separate ways, there was no communication between you and Lee?
Well, obviously there was, because we had to play Davis Cup 3 times a year.
But bare minimum?
Bare minimum, yes.
And how did you hear about his suspected brain tumor?
No, actually, we were supposed to play together that week.
In Long Island?
Yeah, and there was no sign of Leander. And I was at the movies with my coach, Mose, and next thing I know, there's a call from a friend of his saying, can you please call Leander urgently? And I obviously walked out of the movie, called him, and he said, I'm in the hospital, I'm going to keep it short, I think I have a tumor in my brain. So I was shocked to start with, and tried to keep calling him, but you know, he was always under the knife, getting something, you know, blood tests and so on and so forth. So, you know, I decided to fly down to Orlando and, you know, personally see what's going on. And, you know, fortunately enough, it wasn't half as serious as we thought it was.
Thank God. But he says that when you came over, it was like you both were kids again. You ate dosas and you watched Amar Akbar Anthony, and it was a nice...
Yeah, it was definitely good to see him in high spirits when I got there, because, you know, I didn't know what to expect. You know, and having said that, Yeah, it was definitely good to, actually break the ice and, put things into perspective and, never know what's going to happen. So
Yeah. Sometimes it takes a crisis to do that.
yeah.
Otherwise, life could go on. You minimum communication basis, right?
Well, I
You
doubt
never
it.
know.
I doubt it. I mean, because we both know how big the Olympics is for the country and for both of
Okay.
us. So, I knew we both knew at the end of the year, there would have to be some kind of serious communication.
So you're going to reunite on court for the Olympics.
Olympics is definitely a big goal for us next year. Hopefully, we'll, do the right things to get us that.
As I said, a lot of new things happening in your life, and you have a new partner, a new life partner.
Yes, I do.
I want to meet her.
Yep.
Shweta, I'm so delighted to have you here.
It's a pleasure being here, really.
You know, apart from being Hesh's wife, I know you have a lot of accomplishments of your own, a long list. So you tell me which mean the most to you.
Well, I think, enrolling in the MBA program, which I just did last year, in strategic marketing and leadership and change management. I know it sounds it's like typical MBA jargon. It sounds very, very complicated, but it's not.
Very high thing, huh?
Too high for me.
It's not true.
How interesting that you should say that, because I would have thought you'd have said, oh, the Miss India International 1998 in Tokyo.
That was the challenge as well, but this has been, something that has been a very, very different role for me. And I got a lot of flack going in because of my fashion background.
So they didn't take you seriously or what?
I think so. At the beginning, they were like, okay, model, former model, Mahesh's wife. I mean, is she really serious about this thing? So
Well, I don't know about being because of Mahesh's wife.
I guess they just expect me to have this jet-setting life, traveling with him.
So you were a ramp model as well as a campaign model.
Right, yeah.
And you did Nestle's and
Cadbury's and Dabur.
You come from a conservative family, Iyer.
Yeah,
Huh?
I do. Yeah, they're
So-
pretty traditional, academic-oriented.
You also got lots of offers from South Indian films, didn't you?
Yeah, and Hindi movies.
Until the hero stood next to you. Right.
Yeah, and I guess they'd have to stood on a stool.
How tall are you? You giraffe?
I'm 5'11".
But her
Yeah.
shoes don't help at all. I mean, she keeps wearing these heels all the time. So
Yeah, but you're still taller than me.
You're 6'1" or 6'2"?
almost 6'2".
So, I mean, isn't that amazing that a 5'11" should find a 6'2"?
Yeah, yeah, but I did.
You know something? It's really surprising that you've mentioned all these other things that you've done, but you haven't mentioned one of the most important, which is that you're a state-level tennis player.
I know, he has a good laugh about it every
How
time
could
he
you
hears
forget?
it. My parents always wanted me to be a tennis player, and I think my first love was basketball.
She wasn't programmed like you were. Huh?
No.
No, I didn't.
There's the difference. Now we know.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't think I was very good.
Have you played with her?
Twice.
never to play again, I think. I guess his level is
It's something else, of course. But how did the match go?
No, well, by the time I played with her, she hadn't picked up a racket for like
For
a
a
long
long
time.
time.
So did he let you win?
Absolutely.
He did.
Yeah,
I
and towards
knew he
the
would.
end, and I figured, I said, this is not so tough, And then towards the end, I think he really hit, some of his shots that he would normally hit, and I had to just, like, run for cover.
So then, how did you both meet?
Well, you want me to say?
Go ahead.
My version or yours?
First yours, then. I definitely want his as
No,
well.
I'm kidding. It's the same. We met in Madras.
It's never the same.
We made sure it is.
You rehearsed.
I've watched him a lot at the Tata Open, which I used to go and see every year. Actually, I have seen him and Leander win their first ever tournament, cheering from a really far off stand. And we met in Madras through a common friend.
You probably know Ravi Krishnan. He's a good friend of ours, and he just, introduced us that night.
Did you know of her?
No, I
So,
didn't.
was there any chemistry?
I don't know.
I guess there was. We spoke. We had a lot of friends. Obviously, it was in the middle of an auction, but we still found a way to communicate, and we, I guess, exchanged phone numbers, and the rest is history.
Not history so far. Long way to go till we reach the history level. But what were your first impressions?
Obviously, very good. Sheetal Malar, who's another good friend of mine, I obviously told her that, this girl's very pretty, and, so she put in a good word with Shweta for me, and,
Yeah. His friends really brainwashed me. They were campaigning for him from the word go. Like every city, I would meet a friend of his and they would start, "Hi, how are you? But let's,
Yeah, I was busy traveling and playing, so I needed my friends to help me out.
Okay, so in the beginning you just liked each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was no love at first sight.
No.
No.
When did like turn to love?
It's really difficult.
3 months down the line, probably. And as I said, I was out of the country so much, I met her, and then 3 days later I was off to Australia, on to China, and we'd speak 2-3 hours a day, just over the phone. And my dad, who normally pays my phone bills, was, aghast when he saw the phone bill, and then he called me and said, "What's going on? These 2 months have been ridiculous." So I just said, why don't you just put it down to a long-term investment?
That was really sweet. I know he told me. For me, I guess it was. I was just intrigued, tennis player, the kind of life that he might lead, and more importantly, I think the fact that he was really humble despite it all, and very quiet, and we just got along really well.
So then, when did love turn to I can't live without her?
Well, I proposed on her birthday.
That year,
The
the same year.
I think.
When you're traveling as much as you are, and when you lead such a busy, hectic life as you do, what makes you decide, no, I want to get married come what may? You could have got married 4 years down the line.
Yeah, I guess as you said, when you travel so much, it's hard to find the person you think that's the right one. So, if you let that go, and because of your traveling so much, you probably won't find someone like that for the next 10 years. So when I figured that I found the right person, I decided not to waste too much time.
What was it about her that was the right person for you?
It's a mixture of things. The fact that she understands me, understands my profession, the stress that I go through, she helps me deal with it, and the fact that she herself has had her own success in her own way, and she wants to do a lot with her life. She doesn't want to just, travel with me all the time and live the good life. I wanted someone who, had ambition of her own.
I understand. And for you?
About him, there were, I think, a lot of things that just added up. As I said, we just got along really well. He understood me, and the fact that
humor.
Yeah.
Not many people can understand that.
Yeah.
I keep telling her because a lot of people don't laugh, but I get the joke. So.
Like how? What do you mean?
She's got a lot of funny
cynical,
sarcasm. I don't know what you can call it, but
yeah.
Sarcasm.
Sarcasm in a funny way. I'm the one who picks it up, and people who she meets for the first or second time have no clue what she's talking about. And
he made me laugh too, and more importantly, I think he understood the fact that I wanted to lead a life of my own, but with somebody.
Sure. So you got married about a year ago today.
Exactly.
First
wedding anniversary. Do you feel married?
You ask her. I do.
Yeah, well, I do too. We do have a sort of different marriage relationship, you could say. I'm studying in Hyderabad and he's traveling, but things have changed. I feel more responsible towards any choice I make or anything I do. I immediately think of the next person, and I think he does too. He asks me a lot more things and my opinion, and that feels nice.
Tell me, when you're that close and he's in a competitive sport, do you ever feel that your behavior or attitude could help or hinder him in his play?
Definitely. I mean, I don't do well in a certain test, and I feel pretty bad. And I can imagine how he must be what he must be going through, because every week is like that. So I think it takes a totally different mental level to sort of understand that. And it's very important for me to be sort of in sync with, his moods and his feelings.
Does what she say or do affect you before you play, before a match?
It does to a certain extent, but to be fair to anyone, we were dating and then we got married. She did not know the amount of stress that goes into playing a Wimbledon final or a Grand Slam final. So but now she's obviously become a lot better. She knows on the day of a big match, I probably don't even feel like saying a word to anybody except my coach. So she understands that she won't push it when she doesn't have to. And
But it can affect your mood?
It can, yeah. I mean, obviously, if you're going into a big match in a bad mood, definitely affects the way you play.
What can put you in a bad mood?
A lot of things, just a bad breakfast, but no, just unwanted argument, or just any small thing can put you in a bad mood. A bad warm up. So you just try to do everything right to make sure you're going onto the court with every chance to win.
Considering you stay away so much from each other, on the circuit, is he safe?
Yes, I'm sure he is.
Lots of girls we know throw themselves at him. Offer him their phone number with a message, please call me tonight. Come on,
Well, bad luck to them.
Yeah, I'm very safe. I'm in my coach's hands, and he's makes
I
sure.
don't know about him though.
No, she says my coach and my best friend are my second and third wife. So because I spend it.
I'm waiting to pump them off.
This is the kind of stuff she says, right? But that's part of perks of being a celebrity.
I'd like to think so. Yeah. Never used to happen before. So.
Oh,
It's
come
you.
on. It is pretty glamorous on the tennis circuit and off it. Yeah.
But talking about perks, you also had the opportunity of playing a celebrity match with Amitabh Bachchan.
Yeah, that's probably been actually the highlight of my career. Just like I've grown up playing tennis, I've grown up watching him. I couldn't believe that I was on the same side of the tennis court as him, and I told him this while we were playing, and he just smiled. And
How does he play?
he's all right. I mean, he's obviously played, I think, badminton before, so he was definitely connecting with the ball. He didn't want to lose.
Mahesh, you've earned about over $3 million in prize money. Does the money matter more or the title?
Well, luckily for me, they both come hand in hand. But what we work for now is, trying to win the titles. As I said, time's getting shorter, and
How old are you?
I'll be 30 in June.
Yeah, you'd think he's pushing 50. The
The way you
talk.
talk. I know.
Well, it's an athlete's age. You never know when the knees are going to pack up.
When do you want to start a family?
Within the next few years, but she's worked really hard to get this MBA, so she wants to, make use of it.
And when you have a son, is he going to be a tennis champ?
We're battling over his career already.
I want him to be an
golf.
actor.
See?
Actor.
I want him to be a golfer, and he wants him to be an actor.
Why? Tiger Woods.
Yeah, why not?
And you would like him to be a Bachchan?
Yeah, sure. I've been a huge Bollywood fan ever since I've grown up. I mean,
You had 3 or 4 kids, and all your wishes will come true.
that's another way of looking at it.
Well, anyway, listen, I just hope you have a wonderful life together.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Loved meeting you. Thank you for this rendezvous.
Thanks.